Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. For anyone that's new here, my name is Claudio at Claudio Outdoors. This channel is based off anything, all thing outdoors, such as overlanding, camping, finding a beautiful campsite, campground, you name it. This channel has it. So it's been roughly 2.5 years since I installed my dual battery system. And I think it's now time to sort of reevaluate my battery system just to make sure everything is still in tip-top shape. I have no issues with the battery since I installed it, but it's always good to do like a safety measure just to make sure everything looks good because it's also being covered with my security box and also on the cover so it's not visible to the eye. So I sort of broken down all my equipment and I'll be showing you guys how I made my custom security box system. It's sort of unique and it's like one of a kind, so I'm really excited to show you guys how I sort of fitted everything and wired everything. Thank you. For my dual battery system, I have installed 4 of the lithium Dakota battery. I believe each battery is 18 amps each, which gives me a total of 72 amps in total. All the batteries are linked in parallel, which sort of combine all power together. And my charger that I'm using is a BCDC. It's by Red Arc. It's BCDC 1225D. That product worked amazing so far. I had no issues with charging my batteries. Whenever the car is running, it's gaining charge from my main battery, which is hooked up via cable. But honestly, there is no issues with this product at all. I'll bring the camera closer to sort of show you guys how everything is organized and set up. Come on. So for my Overland build, I do have installed the Bronco factory security box system. This box is extremely useful because I can store all my recovery gear, my chainsaw, my first aid kit, literally anything you can think of. This box can be stored, so it's extremely handy to have. On the outside, I did install a a voltage gauge, which allowed me to see the complete voltage of my sorry, the dogs are running around, but this gauge does help me see how much voltage is installed in my dual battery system. It's extremely handy, and also I have charging ports on the outside, both USB chargers and also a cigarette lighter, which is extremely handy and useful to have. I did put 2 holes on the side of the security box, which allow me to feed both main wires to the main port, which is sort of the hot wire terminals, which allow me to put sort of anything directly from the battery to the gauge, which is really handy and useful. That's why I showed you guys in an earlier clip that this 2 components is hot, so you kind of have to be mindful of not to store anything on top of the 2 hot ports because you can arc the system. So I do have like rubber mounts on top of it to sort of prevent that from happening. And also the 2 holes on the side that I did put on to sort of feed the wires through, I did install a heat shrink or a heat protector to sort of prevent any chafing to happen, because it is a draw system and you have to open and close it, and just to prevent any shortage or any weird stuff to happen to the wires. This will come extremely handy for this build in particular. Alright, so the next product on the list would be my inverter that I do have installed on the vehicle. It is called the Renogy 1000 watt inverter. It is extremely useful, but I don't usually use anything above 1000 watts, so I rarely use it. I only use it to charge mostly my Jaggery or any cell phone or any drone batteries I do have on a trip. But it is an extremely fast charger, so if you want to charge your phone super quick, this would come extremely handy. But I don't do any I don't use a lot of electricity on the trips. I mostly use products that I do have, or if anything, I just use my Jackery, which is 2,000 watts. But for this one, I also have made a hole on the side, which also helps. What I mentioned, you have to feed the wires through. I do have a lot of rubber mounts on the corners of this metal container, which helps me sort of protect the wires from any damage when the draw is being operated, because again, it is friction. So you have to kind of be mindful of that, because if it does get damaged, you could have a possibility of arcing the system. So that is something to keep mindful of when you when you put hole through any metal container. So yeah. We can. So I finally just finished recreating a complete wire diagram of how everything is installed on my vehicle for the last 2 years, and I'm really excited to share you guys and show you guys how it is wired. So all 4 of my batteries is the lithium Dakota battery, 18 amps, 12 volt battery. You can see all the power positive ports from here, here. All of these are its individual wire, which has 2 connection points, which is the 2 connection points up here and here, which is also linked with the 80 amp fuse and also a 40 amp fuse. So all of the power is on these 2 connection points. On those 2 connection points is also linked with my BC DC charger. The brown cable is supposed to be linked with the battery on the 40 amp side. So I routed the brown wire to the connection point on the 40 amp fuse, and also the orange and green wire is supposed to loop, so I looped it together. And the yellow is a solar. I do not use solar on the vehicle, so I just snipped that connection and also use a connections to sort of seal off it from arcing or touching any sort of ground when the system is being operated. And also the red wire, I also ran it to my 12 volt battery, which allow the main battery to sort of charge the 48 volt battery. So I ran this wire on the side of the vehicle. I'll display the trims that I just removed to sort of show you guys how everything's routed. But I sort of removed all the trims, neatly routed the wire through all the trims. All of these are trimmed through the firewall. And then I mounted a 40 amp fuse right here, and also installed a switch, which also allows me to switch on and off the current from charging the battery. Yeah, but this system works amazing. I had it for 2.5 years. I have no concerns with this battery system. And also the tray that I am using, it is a tray called American Adventure Lab. It is a really well-known brand in the off-road community. So I highly recommend them. I have no issues or concerns with those components, but this is how everything routed. Oh, and also from the BC-DC charger, you can see I mounted a negative wire, or the black wire, to my ground connection point right here. And that ground connection point also linked with my 1000 watts. So that's where all the power for my 1000 watt inverter gets connected. Yeah. So this is my dual battery system wire diagram. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. Hey guys, so also forgot to mention I do have additional wiring done to the vehicle. So I do have 2 connection points also run from one side positive and one side negative to the top portion of the security box, which would allow me to sort of run any lighting source in the rear cabin of the vehicle. So this wire is located on the ground side. So I have a 8 gauge wire that runs from, oh, I also forgot to mention I do use a 4 gauge wire for all these components and only 8 gauge for the lighting components, which allow me to put the rear cabin lights I mentioned earlier. So I do have 8 gauge wire that runs from this negative side to this top portion on the battery terminal, and also I have a positive running from the 80 amp all the way to the positive side of this terminal, which is sort of separate, so it's not entwined, because if it is, then it will short out and pop this fuse. So since everything's separated, I'm able to hook up my lighting source from this positive and this negative, so I can hook up whatever lighting stuff I do want installed on the vehicle, which is amazing. But this is a formula that I use for my vehicle for the past 2.5 years. Like I mentioned, I never ran into any issues. I love the setup, and I'm able to charge whatever I want on my 1,000-watt inverter. I think I do get roughly 80 to 90 charge, I think it's watts of charge on this components, which charges my Zachary extremely fast. So I really enjoy having that, and also it's really good to just having a vehicle for a second source of battery. Thank you guys. If you guys have any questions, like I mentioned earlier, please feel free to ask in the comment section. But hope you guys learned something, or hopefully you guys can maybe use my formula to sort of build out your own rig, special and unique of how you guys like it. Thank you guys. If you guys like this sort of content, I would really appreciate you guys if you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Plenty more stuff like this is on its way. Thank you guys, and have a blessed one. Welcome back. So I finally reinstalled all my components and currently doing a kind of night test to show you guys how everything operates and look during nighttime. So the only thing that I have installed or running right now is my ice cold fridge. This fridge is really handy because it sort of preserves the battery based off the setting that you set it at. So I always like to set the fridge at the highest battery friendly setting, which would preserve as much energy as possible and still keep the fridge a decent temperature throughout the night, and it don't drain the battery at all. I could have this running for days and not worry about defects in the battery. So I also have hooked up right now my awning, which I always normally camp with either the amber lights on, but I can show you guys how bright these components are. And you can still see the battery still at a solid 13 volts, which means that everything is still holding good volts, and you could still operate these systems for a really long time. Yeah, but hope you guys like the video. Again, if you like or have any questions about the video, please feel free to ask in the comment section. Thank you guys, and have a blessed one.